Hello, and welcome to the Idaho Alternate Assessment Learner Characteristics Inventory training video for the Spring 2021 Test Administration. My name is Karen Striegel. I am the Special Education Coordinator for Alternate Assessment, Low Incidence Disabilities, and Medicaid School-Based Services. The purpose of this training video is to prepare you to complete the Learner Characteristics Inventory, or LCI, for your students who qualify to take the Idaho Alternate Assessment, or IDAA. I'll explain the purpose and content of the LCI and the timeline for completing it. I'll show you how to find the PDF versions of the LCI on the ISAT portal. I'll conclude by demonstrating how to complete the LCI in the Data Entry Interface, affectionately called the DEI. So let's get to it. The LCI has been around for several years. Idaho started using the LCI when it adopted the National Center and State Collaborative, NCSIC, Multiple Choice Alternate Assessment in ELA and Math a few years back. The purpose of the LCI is to collect data on students who qualify for the Idaho Alternate Assessment. We will use the data to correlate a student's IDAA scores with their teachers' ratings on their academic skills and knowledge. We will also use the data for a state-level review to ensure that only those students with the most significant cognitive disabilities are taking the Idaho Alternate Assessment. Let's take a look at the content of the LCI. I'll talk about the two versions of the LCI and describe the types of items in each section. One version of the LCI is for students in grades 3 through 8. The high school version of the LCI is the same as for grades 3 through 8, with additional sections related to secondary transition. The LCI for grades 3 through 8 includes student demographic information, the 4 Idaho Alternate Assessment Participation Criteria, and IDEA information related to disability category and least restrictive environment. There are 10 questions about a student's general characteristics, like vision, communication, hearing, motor skills, and the like. There are 8 questions about a student's reading and writing skills and knowledge, and 7 questions about their math skills and knowledge. The final item is a table you complete with the number of instructional minutes a student receives in each content area per week. The high school LCI contains all the items in the version for students in grades 3 through 8. Then there are 2 questions about career awareness, 2 questions about inclusion in general education, 4 questions about paid employment and work experience, 1 item about parental educational expectations, and 2 items about social skills. Now let's take a look at the LCI completion timeline. From a timing perspective, you will complete the LCI only one time for each student taking the Idaho Alternate Assessment. And you must complete the LCI before you can administer the test to a qualifying student. It does not matter which content area you administer first, ELA, math, or science. You just have to complete the LCI before the student can access their first test. The LCI window opens on February 1st and closes on May 14th. This gives you plenty of time to gather information about your students and complete the LCI before the test window opens. Notice that the LCI window closes before the test window closes, so be sure to get all of your LCIs completed by Friday, May 14th. Printable versions of the LCI are located on the ISAT portal under the Idaho Alternate Assessment section. If you have not already bookmarked the ISAT portal in your favorite browser, I suggest you do so soon. The following video clip shows you how to navigate the ISAT portal to find them. To locate the PDFs of the grades 3 through 8 and high school versions of the Learner Characteristics Inventory, the LCI, start on the ISAT portal homepage. Click the Idaho Alternate Assessments card. The two PDF versions of the LCI are located in the right column of the page under Key Documents. The documents in this column appear alphabetically, so you'll have to scroll down the list until you come to the LCIs. Ta-da! The LCI for grades 3 through 8 and the LCI for high school. Clicking the link will open the document in your browser. Here is the learner characteristics inventory in grades 3 through 8. Here is the learner characteristics inventory for students in high school. You can bookmark the appropriate LCI in your browser, save it to your computer, or you might print it, whatever works for you. Now that you know where to find the LCI, let's talk about completing it. You want to be prepared before you log into the Data Entry Interface, or DEI, to complete the LCI. It won't take you long to complete the LCI if you are prepared. I suggest you download the version of the LCI you need for your students, grades 3 through 8 or high school, and compile your students' information before you log on to the DEI. Part of your preparation will include confirming that your student's special education status and alternate assessment fields in TIDE are set to yes. Here is a screenshot of the student demographic screen in TIDE. The special education status and alternate assessment fields are coded yes. The LCI will only appear in the DEI if these fields are coded yes. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then check in with your school or district test coordinator. As I mentioned, you complete the LCI in the DEI. This next video clip walks you through the process, step by step. Navigate to the Data Entry Interface, or DEI, by starting on the ISAT portal homepage. Click the Idaho Alternate Assessments card. Locate and click the Data Entry Interface card. Clicking the DEI card opens a login page where you enter your email address and password. I am using a demo account to log into the DEI to illustrate the process. Notice this is a teacher account. If you don't have a teacher account, work with your school test coordinator to get one set up. Clicking the Secure Login button opens the Enter Student Information screen. Enter the student's first name and EDU ID. I will complete the LCI for my demo student, Bo. And click Sign In. I confirm that this is the student I want. This is Bo, and I click Next. Confirming the student opens the available test page. For students who qualify for the Idaho Alternate Assessment, you will see the Learner Characteristics Inventory and the Student Response Check, the SRC. As I mentioned earlier, the Special Education Status and Alt Assessment fields in TIDE must be coded yes before you can access the LCI. If you don't see the LCI and the SRC on this screen, then you need to update the student settings in TIDE or work with your test coordinator to update the student's special education status and alt assessment fields in TIDE to yes. Click Start Learner Characteristics Inventory, which opens the Instructions and Help window. You do not need to worry about the test settings, additional test information, or help guide sections because you don't administer the LCI to the student. You can simply click Begin Test Now. Finally, you come to the actual LCI. It won't take you long to complete the LCI if you've gathered your students' information beforehand. The first 4 items on the LCI are the Idaho Alternate Assessment Participation Criteria. The statement at the top of the page includes general information about the Idaho Alternate Assessment, specifies that the IDAA is only for those students with the most significant cognitive impairments or disabilities, and lists the 14 non-participation criteria. This statement appears above all 4 of the participation criteria items. Respond to each criterion or item by answering yes or no. You can navigate between the items by using the numbered tabs just above and to the right of the item, or by using the next and back buttons. I have responded to all 4 items on the LCI, and I click the next button and I proceed to the next item. Most items on the LCI are formatted as multiple choice or multi-select from a list. There are a few items with open fields like student name and grade. You can type your response from the computer keyboard or use the number and letter pad on the screen. I'm typing Bo's name using the keyboard. You can click the back button to return to the previous item. As I said earlier, use the next button to move to the next item. You must answer an item before you can go on to the next one. Let me show you what I mean. If I click the next button without answering this item, I get a pop-up window telling me that I must answer all questions on this page before moving to the next page. Click OK to return to the unanswered item. I enter Bo's grade, which is 8, and go on to the next item. So I just told you that you can't move to the next item without answering the previous item. This holds true for all items except item 10. If yes, what is your student's primary language, the dominant language spoken in the student's home? Notice this question may be skipped if the student's primary language is English. Item 10 is linked to item 9. Is your student's primary language a language other than English? Well, Bo's primary language is English, so I answered no. Therefore, I can leave item 10 blank. If Bo's primary language was a language other than English, I would type it here. See? The DEI lets me advance to the next item even though I skipped item 10. Again, item 10 is the only skippable item on the LCI. Let's take another look at a group of items that have a statement or stimulus, like the 4 Idaho Alternate Assessment participation criteria that appear at the beginning of the LCI. Items 30 through 35 have a stimulus on the left side of the page entitled Mathematical Reasoning. I can move between the items using the number tabs or the next button. The DEI will let me move around between items with the stimulus without answering all the items. However, I must answer all the questions on this page before moving to the next. You may have to scroll down to see all the questions. So, I go back and answer all the items. Ooh, I missed one. I need a little green check mark. If I click the Save button after the last one, see my little green check marks? Then I can go on to the next item. Item 36 is the last LCI item for students in grades 3 through 8. Once I click a box in each row to indicate the number of minutes Bo receives instruction in each content area, I can click the Save button and the Finished button appears. Item 44 is the last item on the high school version of the LCI. I rated Graham, my high school demo student's ability to interact with others in different situations, and clicked Save so you can already see the Finished button. Clicking the Finished button for the grades 3 through 8 and high school versions of the LCI opens this attention pop-up window that reads, "You have reached the end of the test. Click yes to continue to the next page. Click no to keep working on the test. I click yes because I have finished the LCI for Graham, my high school demo student. And I get the "You are done entering data" page. You can return to any item on the LCI from this screen. The orange triangle highlights any unanswered or skipped item. Like Bo, Graham's primary language is English, so I skipped item 10. If you click item 10 here, you will return to the actual item. I confirm that I can skip item 10 and click the finished button. Here's that attention button again. You have reached the end of the test. Click yes to continue to the next page. Click no to keep working on the test. I click yes, which takes me to the "You are done entering data" page again. I don't need to return to any other items, so I click Submit Test. Are you sure you're done reviewing this test? This is your last chance to return to or change your responses to any LCI items. I am sure I don't need to review any other items, so I click Yes. The Done Reviewing Test page lets you confirm that you just submitted the LCI for your student. From this page, you can log out, enter more data for this student. Maybe you want to complete the student response check for this student. By the way, there's a separate video about the SRC. Or enter data for a different student. If you want to complete LCIs for other students during the same sitting, you will click Enter Data for a Different Student. I will click Enter More Data for this student. We are back at the Available Test screen. Ta-ta-ta-ta! You see that the LCI is grayed out. It is inactive, and there are no opportunities available in this testing window. Now you are ready to go forth and complete the LCI for your students who qualify for the Idaho Alternate Assessment. Let's recap what you've learned about the LCI in this video. Now you know the purpose and content of the LCI. You know when to complete the LCI. You know where to find the printable versions of the LCI for grades 3 through 8 and high school on the ISAT portal. And you know how to complete the LCI in the DEI. I know some of you are going to have questions about the LCI, so I will be hosting a couple of live virtual question and answer sessions in late February and March. I will publish the dates and times in the assessment newsletter. Of course, you can always call or email me with your questions as well. Thank you for taking the time to view this training video on the Idaho Alternate Assessment Learner Characteristics Inventory. Don't hesitate to contact me when you need support.